Alright, so I'm going to show you how to animate and do a couple different things along the way. So, notice I only put together part of the train in only 2 tracks. So, please know that you need all the rest of the stuff. But I only put this on here for to speed things up for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off my work plane and make sure all work planes are turned off and no unconsumed sketches are on there. Okay. And one other thing that I find to make things easier is when I create it, I want to rename this angle constraint. So angle constraint 1, I always rename it, call it drive. Oh, not liking it. There, I can change it. I always just name it drive so it's easier to find because it's my drive constraint. A couple other things you're going to need to check real quick. Right click on your drive constraint, go to drive. Okay, right now it's set up to start at 0 degrees and end at 360 degrees. If I hit forward, notice what happens. The wheel moves backwards as the train moves forwards. So we need to negate a value. So what we're going to do is we're going to go cancel, and we're going to go train body, and we're going to go to this flush constraint, and we're going to edit it. Well, the solution we're getting is going backwards because we need a negative. So as soon as we put in a negative D6 and we hit OK, when we go back to our drive constraint and we drive it, okay, it now works. Okay, the wheel is going in the correct direction versus the wheel is going in the correct direction, and so is the body. So how do we get it to go forward on the track? Well, that's another negative. So now we're going to have it go to a negative 360. So if we reset it and we hit play, it's going to start at 0 and end at a negative. Actually, it's going from a negative 360 to a 0. Okay. And when it gets there, it stops. We can hit it again. We need that information down. We need to make sure the wheel is moving in the correct direction, so when we get it to drive down the track, it happens. So that's what we're going on. 360 degrees will get us to go all the way down the track. So we hit OK. All right. Next thing we need to do is we need to change our environments and go into the Inventor Studio. Okay. Inventor Studio allows us to do different things. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to add our constraint. Okay. It wants to know what constraints. So the constraint I want is the drive constraint. Well, I want it to start, at 0. Oh, that's what's going on. I got to leave Inventor Studio, and I got to edit. Got to get it back to 0. So now when I go back to Inventor Studio, right, and I add a constraint to my timeline, I want the drive constraint. It's going to start at 0, and I'm going to have it end at negative 720. Actually, I'm going to go negative 700. So it's not going to quite do 2 full rotations. Okay. Next, we're going to go and we're going to specify the amount of time it takes, and we're going to say it's going to take, I'm just going to go 20 seconds. It's going to take 20 seconds to do that. Okay. There's one other bit of information that we can put in here. Our acceleration. So right now, it's going to accelerate for 20%, okay? 20% of the 20 seconds. At 60% of the 20 seconds, it's going to be, so about 4 seconds it's going to be accelerating, 4 seconds it's going to be deaccelerating, okay? And so 12 seconds is what it's going to be, when it drives. So we hit OK. Okay, so you can see where it stops right there. Okay, you can see where it stops. So it automatically created us our animation timeline. So if we hit go to start and we come in here and we hit play, we can see that the train slowly starts up, gets up to speed, and keeps rolling down the tracks. Okay. So now we can have, and if we remember, if we correctly assembled it, all of the wheels should be rolling at the same time in the same direction. Okay. So that's one way we can do it. But we can also come in here and we can put in some different things. Okay. That will change things up. I'm going to reset my animation. Okay. And if I click here, it expands the editor. Okay. And you can see what's happening, what's going on along the way. So that is some of the basic things we can do. Okay. Some other things that we can do is we can add in what's called a fade. Okay. Components. So we're going to start with what component do we want to fade? Well, let's fade the gold track. It's going to start at 100%. It's going to fade down to 15%. Okay. Specify. Well, we're going to have it start. Okay. I'm going to have it start at 2 seconds. Okay. Excuse me. Start at 2 seconds. Oh, start at 2 seconds. Okay. It's going to last for a total of sometimes it doesn't like to. It's going to last. I want it to last for, let's say, 6 seconds. So it's going to start at 2. It's going to be durations 4. Okay, and we're going to hit play. So you can see it from 2 to 4 is where it's going to do it, my gold track. Okay, now I'm going to shrink this guy down and I'm going to hit repeat. Okay, move him down. I'm going to hit play and watch what happens. He drives down the track and our gold track just disappears. Probably should have made it the black track instead of the gold, but hey, it will work. So now if we reset it, we can do something a little bit cooler with this fade. Okay, I can right click on it and I can go mirror. So what happens is at this point it fades away and then it comes back in. So maybe on yours you want to start with only one track and fade in the other one. So tracks just come in as it drives down the track. Okay. We hit reset and we hit play. The track will fade out down to 15% and the track will start fading back in. All right. If I want to along the way, I can continue to, I can maybe move this so it doesn't start fading in until 2 seconds afterwards. So I hit reset and hit play, and it's going, the track fades out, it stays faded out, and then it starts fading back in. Some ideas to consider along the way. Maybe another thing we want to do this, so that's all cool and dandy if we have one camera, right? Maybe we want to have multiple cameras, so I'm going to show you how to put in a camera along the way. So I'm going to zoom in so I get as much of it here as possible. So right now, and I always tell you to adjust it via your view cube before you create a camera. Well, you can create a camera here, or you can create a camera here. I'm gonna go. I right click on it. I'm gonna go create camera from view. Okay, so it has made this camera based on this view. Okay, and I can wrap it around and I can make camera 2. So maybe I want to go here and make this. Actually, I'm gonna go right here, and I'm going to make this. Okay, I'm going to make this. Actually, nope, don't click that. You want to go right click and go create camera from view. So I got camera 1 and I got camera 2. So going back to my start, so I'm going to go back to camera 1. So now I'm back at camera 1. This allows me to change cameras. And I actually can animate the camera. So I'm going to come down, I right clicked on it, I'm going to go animate camera. Okay, and in here it's going to ask me definition camera. You can put on some paths, okay? If you want to play with paths, that's fine. I'm actually going to come in here, I'm going to use turntable, and I'm going to turn on the action, okay? Wants to know what direction you want to go, okay? What direction you want to go, the number of revolutions. I'm only going to go 1 revolution, and this wants to know here how many times do you how many revolutions based on time, plus or minus, okay? I'm just going to go this, okay? This one right here, so it does 1 revolution total, okay? A couple other things, okay? How long do you want it to take? Well, it's only a 20-second video, so I'm going to specify my duration for 20, okay? Specified it, okay? One other thing, okay? The axis in which it rotates, so it's going to rotate like this about this axis, okay? So X wouldn't give me a very good video. Let's try Y. Y would give me, it wouldn't give me a very good video, but Z would, okay? Z would. So now if I hit apply, okay, it now creates the video, the camera. So now if I come in and I hit play, the train is moving, and now so is my camera along the way, which adds another unique bit of coolness along it. Okay, and it finishes here. So it did 1 complete rotation during the video. All right. That's another thing that you can do to add and add to your train. Another thing we can do is we can come in here and we can create a new video producer. Well, video producer allows us to do a few other things. So maybe we want to bring in here and we want to bring camera 1 in, and we want camera 1, we want to stick with camera 1 for maybe, let's say, I want to bring him in here, we'll go 8 seconds. And then I can add a transition and we'll go do gradient wipe, and we'll add the gradient wipe to the timeline. Okay, and it's going to last about 2 seconds, and then I'm going to add camera 2 shot onto the camera. Okay, so now if I come down here, I want camera 2 right there. So it's going to do a gradient wipe to camera 2, and we'll have camera 2, okay, camera 2 right here. We hit reset and we hit play. Okay, we'll see if it works. Camera 1, camera 1's rotating. So as it rotates, it then switches to camera 2. How you change cameras and how you move to each one of your different cameras, and you can animate more than 1 camera along the way to make your video even better. So those are some of the components going into it. I'll be back here shortly on how to actually render it. Thanks, guys.